Coming up this hour, Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice indict former GRA boss Reverend Amishadai Usuamwa as being liable for procurement breaches costing the country some 9 million cedis.
Also, experts welcome President Mahama's directive to the Auditor General to conduct a forensic audit of the 13th All-Africa Games held in Accra last year.
Plus, residents of the East Gonja municipality in the Savannah region protest decades of crippling power instability and neglect by the central government. It's News Central, live on TV3. I'm Kemini Amanor.
And I am Mawuena Egbeta. The bulletin starts right now.
The Auditor General to conduct a forensic audit into Ghana's hosting of the 13th All-Africa Games in Accra. According to a statement from the presidency issued on Tuesday, the directive follows findings submitted by the National Intelligence Bureau and demonstrates government's commitment to accountability, transparency, and prudent use of public funds. Well, let's tell you a bit more from that statement calling for a forensic audit, or more like ordering a forensic audit. The scope of this audit includes reviewing all financial and operational aspects of the game, focusing on these 4 key areas: investing in how tenders were handled, checking contractor and supplier selection, and ensuring compliance with the procurement laws of this land. So basically, that's what the president has ordered for an investigation into how funds were expended as far as the All-Africa Games that held here in Accra is concerned. There's also going to be issues around financial management and expenditure control, including reviewing funding sources, expenditure, like I mentioned before, disbursement processes, examining how sponsorships were also managed. They would also look at infrastructure and project delivery, assessing the project timelines and cost overruns, and determining whether construction and renovations offered value for money. Sports analyst Nana Agyemang, who has done a lot of write-ups about corruption within the sports fraternity, is joining us with a bit, for a bit more on this. So let's chat about this now, Nana. Nana, good afternoon to you. Obviously, this is good, very timely, isn't it?
Absolutely, very timely, and once again, an indication of the commitment by this government to try and eradicate corruption. I think we've got to look back, take a look back and recognize the fact that these games were awarded to us back in 2018 or 2019 as such, and it was supposed to take place in 2023. By 2022, it was clear that we weren't going to be hosting these games. And in 2023, we had to plead with the organizing body in Africa to allow us to have these games the year after. We didn't know at the time that it would open up to something like this. But basically, I mean, look, I mean, you've got the UG Stadium there, which has cost more when it was half built than the stadiums that we just had built by scratch. We had the Baltimore Sports Complex costing a whopping 145 million, and that was crazy. And the Village Games, 16 million. I mean, it was just unbelievable. I mean, you had basically accreditation going at something at 4.5 million. It was just basically a piece of and a small picture on there. So, I mean, the thing about it is the minister, Honorable Yusuf. I mean, he just went overboard. It's seriously overboard because I mean, procurement and everything was done by him, and it can't be done that way. There was no accountability. There was no transparency. There was absolutely nothing. We were left with a huge bill, and there were even roads that we hadn't finished completing before the games was due to take place. And I mean, it's a scandal, because here are we supposed to be hosting games that are supposed to demonstrate our integrity, our reputation, and show so many things about Ghana, and it's turned out to be completely something else. And these people have just walked away as if they've done nothing wrong at all. But I'm sure that when the Auditor General provides the report in December, we're going to be even more shocked than we are now.
Well, I mean, when you look at the scope of the audits that the presidency has called for, is it sufficient?
Yeah, I think it's sufficient. I think it is sufficient because I think it covers all the grounds where one would want to talk about the issue of accountability, talk about the issue of transparency, talk about the issue of procurement. I think it covers all the grounds. I think it's a comprehensive forensic report that has been given the green light. And as I say, once we see what comes back, which I think we already know, let's be honest, we already know there's been so much corrupt practices throughout the last administration. It's unbelievable, you know, least of all in sports. I think we all know that when it comes back, that people will be indicted.
I see. And now who should be persons of interest in this audit?
Well, most certainly the Minister of Youth and Sports. There's no two ways about that.
The former?
Yes, the former Minister of Sports, not Honorable Kofi Adams, no. You know, I think that the buck stops with him because, you know, unfortunately, the way we set things up, our institutions are weak, and it leaves everything open for individuals to put their eye on the prize. Instead of it being something for the nation, then people start seeing that there are loopholes there whereby self-gratification comes into play, greed comes into play. And I think it stops entirely at his doorstep as the former Minister of Youth and Sport. He will have so many questions to be answered.
Very well, Nana. Thank you so much for talking to us. Nana Jiman is a sports analyst, and we've been discussing the president's directive for an audit into expenditure for the All Africa Games held here in Accra last year. But Mawuena will take us through a bit more. Or from this audit, what to expect, but also a bit more background on the issues that have come up so far on this, and then a bit more chat on this as well. What are we learning, Mawuena?
So you've started it. Perhaps we just go through a bit more of the background, and then we'll get the Youth and Sports Committee to react to this as well. But we know that of the many things this investigative audit, if I can call it that, is supposed to be looking at is to review all the financial and operational aspects of the games, and with the focus on some key areas. The first is on procurement and contracting, because on that aspect, there were quite a number of things that come up for interrogation. First is investigating how tenders were handled all throughout that particular process. Also, the expectation is that this forensic audit will check contractor and supplier selection as well, and then also see to the ensurance of compliance with the procurement acts of the country's land. Also, they will as well be looking at matters involving financial management and expenditure control as well, where they will be seeking to review funding sources, spending and then disbursement procedures as well. Then they'll be examining, amongst many other things, how these funds were managed. Then they'll focus on infrastructure and project delivery, because remember that there was the completion of the Boteman Sports Complex as a part of the preparation towards the All-Africa Games. You remember there was rehabilitation of some hostel facilities belonging to the University of Ghana, and then as well the completion of the University of Ghana Sports Stadium as well. And so all of that will begin to fall under this particular category, where they will be, amongst many other things, seeking to assess project timelines and cost overruns, determine whether or not construction and renovations offered value for money, and as well a bit more in terms of institutional performance, where they'll evaluate how government agencies and committees coordinated during the planning and execution of the events. But we can speak to the chair of the sports, the Youth and Sports Committee right now, the Honorable Ernest Nogbe, and find out from them what they make of this as well. Because, Mr. Honorable, thank you very much for speaking to us. At that time, you were in opposition. You had raised quite the concern in relation to the expenditures and a number of the issues that had come up as a result of this particular games. Having heard the president, or having seen the president now provide this direction and timelines, clear timelines to which all of this is expected to happen, does this satisfy you vis-a-vis the promise you had made while in opposition?
Well, thank you very much, and good afternoon to your viewers as well as listeners. Yes, that is the fact. And as a committee, a report came to plenary where Mr. Speaker also referred same report to the committee to look into. And the fact of the matter is, we started looking into the report. And what we have seen as a committee and what we have heard, we invited all the stakeholders. They spoke to us. They did their presentation. And what we have realized and what we have seen, in fact, eyes cannot comprehend. And so we deferred the matter to a later date, where we wanted, as a committee, to have a public hearing on the matter. Because the first time we decided to listen to them, listen to the operatives under these circumstances, and upon listening to them, so many questions came up. We decided to, concerning procurement issues, especially awarding of contracts, disbursement of funds, selection of suppliers, selection of caterers, a whole lot, renovation, etc. It appeared it was a one-man show, and we decided that no, this one we need to do a public hearing on that matter. So yes, it is true that there were some other things that were found in there, and when the president made this decision that there should be a forensic investigation, yes, I think it is a step in the right direction, and we in Parliament as a committee, we have also not stopped looking into the report that was referred to us by Mr. Speaker. We will also continue to do our work. And so I think it's a step in the right direction, because, my brother, what we have found out in that report and in their presentation is something that we need a forensic investigation, and every Ghanaian must be aware of what is happening in there.
Let's talk just briefly about the work that you're doing as a committee in relation to a similar matter like this. Are there any differences? What will the work your committee, which you're doing currently, what will it add to whatever forensic audit is being conducted right now by the Auditor General?
Yeah, so in that case, we will have to confer and look at it from that angle, because we were doing our duty as parliamentarians we were doing our oversight duty. We started it somewhere, I think 2 months ago on this matter. And now that the president has come out to say that there should be a forensic investigation, we'll have to go back to the drawing board and then confer with Mr. Speaker and the leadership and see whether we need to go ahead with it, because the work of Parliament is different from whichever investigative body that is going to engage in this one. So we have to confer with them. But the basic line is that there are a lot of issues in that report, in that representation that were given to the committee at that time, and we decided that we were going to do public hearing because we realized it was of public interest. The matter was of public interest as at last year, and so there's a need for us to go public. We will confer with leadership and Mr. Speaker himself that Mr. President has ordered that there should be a forensic investigation, whether we should continue with our investigation or not, or our work as a parliamentarians or as a committee or not. Mr. Speaker and then the leadership of Parliament will determine.
Clear on criticism that it's taken too long for this forensic audits to have been commissioned by the president, and for even you in Parliament as well to have rounded up your work in relation to the happenings during the 13th All Africa Games.
Yes, you know the matter during the period, the recess period, the matter was with I think the YOCO or either YOCO or investigative bodies. So we were reluctant. We were looking at it from that angle, whether we're going to do duplication of effort or resources, what will be the impact of the work of Parliament, what will be the impact of the investigative body. But be that is made, we took the bull by the horn and we went into the matter. But in realizing what were coming out from that matter, there's a need for us to go public. Yes, I understand that it's taking too long, but by and large, if you do a quality job, no matter how long it takes, and the outcome is what every Ghanaian expected, or you do a very good job that the outcome represents the position of the report of the work or investigation, I think it's also a good step. And so, by and large, for the committee, if go ahead is given to us today, we'll be able to run up our investigation and then submit our report. That was not the only report that was referred to us. There were other reports that were referred to us, which we have worked on. But if the order is given to us at any given point in time, within the shortest possible time, we will come out with our report, because we have started the proceedings already. We have come out with preliminary outcomes already, and it will not take long. We just want Ghanaians to hear for themselves what we have found out. That is why we wanted to go to do public hearing.
Honorable, I appreciate you speaking to us. That's Ernest Henry Nogbe. He's a Shaman Member of Parliament, as well as the chair of the Youth and Sports Committee, speaking to us as well this afternoon on the latest that we're getting from the presidency on a forensic audit in relation to the 13th All Africa Games. But we'll move away from that and get into other subject matters right now, because the troubles of immediate past Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Reverend Dr. Amishadai Owusu-Amoah, appear far from abating. The former GRA boss, who is under investigations by the Office of the Special Prosecutor, is now to serve a 5-year disqualification from public office after CHRAJ found him complicit in procurement breaches during his time as GRA boss. The Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, CHRAJ, says its investigations into a petition arising over the purchase of vehicles found Dr. Owusu-Amoah liable for causing financial loss to the state to the tune of some 8.7 million cedis. He has subsequently been referred to the Attorney General for prosecution. And this afternoon, we'll walk you through some of the findings and what the decisions have been by the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice right now. And we'll get into those details right now for you, what the findings were. Just brief details, because it's a 157-paged report, and obviously we can't bore you with all of the details. But of importance is that he's been found liable of causing financial loss to the state to the tune of some 826,000 plus US dollars. If you work the math into cities, 8.9, almost 9 million cities is what is attributable to him in terms of causing financial loss to the state. But of the decision that has been arrived at by CHRAJ, they say that the respondents, being Reverend Dr. Amisha Dayamoa, be disqualified from holding any public office for all periods of 5 years from the date of this decision. And so a 5-year ban, you could call it that, from holding public office. And also, the commission is referring him, as well as the directors of the 3 companies, because there were 3 companies involved in all of these procurement processes, to the Attorney General for possible prosecution and the recovery of the sum of this near 9 million that we see as loss to the state. And then, and so these are the details in terms of what it is that the CHRAJ, the Commission of Human Rights and Administrative Justice, has found against the former CHRAJ boss. Let's speak to the chief crusader of the Crusaders Against Corruption, Ghana, Emmanuel Wilson Jr., on this latest. Mr. Wilson, I appreciate you speaking to us. Having read excerpts of the report, what do you make of the findings against the former GRA boss? A thorough work done, or a lot more room in terms of what was presented to them and their own investigative work? Mr. Wilson, can you hear us? Mr. Wilson,
can you hear me?
Yes,
I can hear you.
Did you hear my question as well?
Can you repeat the question, please?
I'm asking what you've made of the entirety of the report, with the understanding that you've read it. You think good enough work done?
Well, I will obviously not want to underestimate or underrate any state institution's work, knowing very well that the tools and what information is available to them, I may not be so much privy to. We want to believe in state institutions. So the report that has come out, I want to say that, yes, as far as CHRAJ is concerned, this is the report they have given. We are supposed to work with it. So a different or a contrary report. Now, having said that, after going through the report, it's a bit amazing. Amazing that such things are happening in this country. When over the past period we've been talking about the best avenue to fight corruption, it looks like we are not making significant progress as far as our expectations are concerned. The other thing that is of the worry to me is the fact that we have to always wait for a change in government before this expose comes up. Right from this time, we had to get the benefit of knowing some of this route taking place under Rawlinson's era only when Kufuor came into office. The same thing happened. We got to know a bit more of the route taking place under Kufuor only when Atamos came into office. And it has been the same thing today as we speak. If we do not take care, knowing very well that human institutions are always exposed to corruption and corruption-related matters, it is very likely, and I will not be surprised, that whether 4 years, 8 years, 15 years, whatever years, after the NDP has left office, there's a higher possibility that we may be experiencing similar things. And so it actually raises an issue. The issue is, what is it as a country that we are not doing right? That seems like we're having the same thing reoccurring over and over and over. And if you ask what exactly we are doing which is not right, I will be quick to tell you that our approach in fighting corruption is what we are doing and doing it wrongly. We are adopting a reactive approach over the past year instead of adopting a proactive approach. The proactive approach talks about building systems to prevent the occurrence of that. How come Amisha Dai could, be in part of such roles? Even internally, JRA, didn't they have finance officer? Didn't they have internal auditor? Didn't they have an accountant? Didn't they have an administrator? What exactly happened to the internal system, the internal structure, to the extent that just one person in the name of
the Director General, if I got his title right, will be able to engage in such roles. What's happening to the public procurement? Because in every institution, outside the Public Procurement Authority, every public institution is supposed to have a procurement department headed by a procurement officer. What happens to that procurement department? Internally, it is clear that the system has become so polarized to the extent that it breeds corruption. And for me, that is what we need to be looking at as a country.
That you mentioned that the fact that it appears the internal processes are non-existent, which allows these individuals to continue to engage in the breaches which is recorded every year, and even moving beyond this to the Public Accounts Committee sittings and many other instances of such nature. There appears to be a lack of national learning and also a lack of possible reforms as to addressing these matters.
I agree perfectly with you. That is also one thing that is affecting us. Our lack of reform. It stems from the fact that we pretend, and when I make reference to we, I'm making reference to the leaders that have the ability to cause this reform. Parliament, what is happening to them? Public Accounts Committee, which is a subset of Parliament, what is happening to them? In fact, when you go to Parliament, we have committees that are supposed to be in charge, specifically in charge of various sectors of our economy. So the committee that is supposed to ensure that this thing will not even reoccur. What happens to that committee? We are also talking about other institutions such as the Auditor General Department. What happened to that? So clearly, the reforms that need to be done are reforms that are supposed to be championed by these same individuals who, for whatever reason, have created the impression to me personally that when the system is weak as it is or polarized as it is, they are comfortable because they benefit from it. I'll give you a typical example. How many years on haven't we talked about reforming our 92 Constitution? What has happened to it? You see, when you look at the 92 Constitution, for instance, it's centralized power. It gives power so much to the executive led by the president of any given day. When you centralize power, it becomes difficult for the people.
Well, we have a review. We have a review process ongoing right now, and so perhaps there will be some work done in that respect. But we have to end the conversation here. I appreciate you speaking to us, Mr. Wilson, and I'm sure there will be another forum where we can begin to expand on questions about whether or not enough reforms are being undertaken, because not the first time a matter of such a nature has come up about procurement breaches and the likes. But we'll bring you some other stories here on News Central.
Now, residents in East Gonja municipality of the Savannah region are demanding urgent government intervention to resolve what they describe as decades of crippling power instability. The residents, numbering hundreds under this umbrella of the coalition of Salaga deserves better, thronged the principal streets of Salaga to demonstrate over persistent erratic power supply and low voltage, which they say is destroying livelihoods, slowing development and affecting students' academic performance. The angry demonstrators expressed frustration over years of engagements with officials of the VRA and a Northern Electricity Distribution Company, traditional and religious leaders, and the Municipal Assembly, which they claim have not produced lasting results. Nadra Mohammed is our correspondent in Salaga. Nadra, what's the situation this afternoon there?
So, Kemini, the situation in Salaga here concerning the electricity is a terrible one, according to what residents are saying. So, they said that their businesses are collapsing because of the constant power outages there in Salaga. They said that in a day, they can experience more than 20 times power outage. And this is not the first time. It's been in existence for ages. They complained, and so they are not getting any results. So today they decided to take the streets again to demonstrate. And mind you, this is the first time they are demonstrating on the same issue over the years, and the situation is still the same.
I see. Is the demonstration ongoing as we speak?
As I speak right now, they have submitted a petition to the Assembly. Unfortunately, the DC isn't around, so the coordinating director has to take it on behalf of the DC. So they have submitted it, and everybody has gone their way. So currently, they are done with the demonstration.
I see. And let's take a listen to leaders of the demonstration, and then we'll come back to you.
I'm having a cold store. Usually, this lighting system in Salaga is affecting us. Usually, you go and buy your items, you bring it, and then before you just realize the light is off. Before the light is off, in a day we can have a light of more than 10 times. And then, like usually, when we bring usually when we do a new stock inside our store, in case if there's light off, usually all the items just spoil. And then usually we go in for loan. And then as a business disinventor, when you go in for loan, definitely you have to pay back. But as the light usually go off, then usually it affects us. And then usually we have low patronage from our customers.
The light is causing so much problem to our business. Because as let's just mention, I'm selling clothing. My shop is hot. I wanted to buy AC, but top of the low current, I can't buy the AC. And then our mothers too, they are selling water, beer, and then soborodo. Their soborodo is always spoiling. So please, we are pleading the government, you should try and then fix our light for us. And then we have a poor road too. We are pleading on the government to please and then do our road for us.
The current situation of lighting system in Salaga is very appalling. We don't actually understand what.
Oh, we've just heard from some residents in Salaga about the poor supply of electricity there. Nadra, what has NEDCO officials, or what have NEDCO officials said about the situation?
So yes, with NEDCO officials, I was unable to get them. So I spoke to the coordinating director. So he spoke on behalf of the DC, and what he's saying is that for the past weeks now, both the DC and then the MP have taken an initiative to bring a lasting solution to it. So they've made some contacts, and then they visited NEDCO, both regional and the national level, to get to know what exactly is the problem. So as I speak now, according to what they are saying, for the past 4 days, they have had light without any interruption, even though there's low current. But compared to previously, it has been stable for the past 4 days. So they are giving assurance that since the MP has come in and NEDCO is saying that the situation is beyond them, so they are seeking intervention from the central government. So they believe that in the coming days, all the situation will come to an end.
Let's take a listen to the assembly member you spoke with.
To let you know that we are all part of this. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, Nadra, I will leave it here. Thank you so much for talking to us. Nadra Mohammed joined us from Salaga. Now, we'll turn attention to the Ghana AIDS Commission, because the Commission will roll out condom dispensing machines at strategic locations, particularly during events where young people gather following a concerning trend of decline in condom use among the youth. This worrying development comes as the country grapples with a significant number of new HIV infections, with more than 15,000 cases recorded in 2024 alone. Alarmingly, 60% of those infected know their status, highlighting the need for targeted interventions. The Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission, Dr. Kamisil Prosper Akambong, spoke during the launch of the 2025 World AIDS Day here in Accra.
It's very important. Condom accessibility is a big problem. And most often people don't just buy condoms because you go to the pharmacy, you say, oh, can I get a condom? You look at you from head to toe and say, And that is a part of stigma of condom use. But if we make it just accessible, I mean, in a very vantage place, be it a drinking bar, the sports stadium, lorry station, nightclubs, I mean, you just go and drop your coin there and 3 packs come to you and it's in your pocket and you're ready to use. It's discreet, it's exclusive, and you don't have to face that stigma. We started it some time ago, but these machines are all broken down. And with what is happening right now, we need to have innovative machines that can easily distribute that, because it should come with a message. As you pick your condoms, you get a message that this pre-exposure prophylaxis is available to you, post-exposure prophylaxis is available to you. And you have covered most universities. There are whole weeks. What happens? There's always a lot of demand for this. 10, 15 years ago, the airways were full of HIV, AIDS messages. And we hardly hear that. Over the past 10, 15 years, we've not heard anything.
Meanwhile, the Ghana HIV/AIDS Network is urging the government to operationalize the National HIV/AIDS Fund, warning that the fight against HIV/AIDS may be severely hindered without it. In 2016, Ghana took a significant step towards combating the viral disease by establishing the National HIV/AIDS Fund, mandated by the Ghana AIDS Commission Act.
The commission now doesn't have money. So all the interventions that we are designing, they are still on the drawing board, and there are no funds for implementation. Meanwhile, this fund was supposed to have been activated somewhere in 2016, because that's when the GAC Act was amended and then the fund was introduced. But from 2016 to date, we have been calling upon government, making all the appeals, and still the fund is in a state of comatose. So we are appealing to His Excellency the President that we need the resources. We want to end AIDS by 2030. Without a dedicated fund to support all the innovations, all the other interventions, there's no way we'll be able to achieve that result. The only challenge there is for government to put in the seed money. And then also there's the need for a sustainable mechanism to ensure that whatever is put in will not just whittle away, but then it will be sustained over a period of time.
Let's talk the 2026 budget, because next week the Finance Minister, Dr. Kassia Latoforsen, is expected to be in the legislature, amongst many other things, detailing the economic plan of the Mahama administration for the 2026 fiscal year. But before we can look ahead to the future, it's important that he will take stock of what was outlined in the 2025 budget when he went to Parliament early this year, some months ago. Some key economic indicators as outlined and targets, policies as well to be implemented, and also the much important VAT reform, which is expected to, amongst many other things, remove the COVID-19 levy from all of our taxes. Let's try and walk you through exactly what it is, some of the key highlights from his presentation earlier on this year, and then the both of us, you watching at home, and then me who's by the dashboard as well, will try to answer some if we have indeed chalked some of these successes. Let's start off with what we have here on the macroeconomic indicators, some of the targets which were set. We set a real GDP target, end of year 4.3%, but if you've been following the updates the Bank of Ghana has been providing, this well and surely looks like we will go beyond it. And remember when the minister was speaking, he says he'd like to set moderate targets so that he will outperform them. It appears he's on course to do that. Inflation as well, the government appears to be on course. We've already gone past a target of 15%. We're hovering in the regions of 11% at the last time I checked. In terms of overall fiscal deficit as well, we'll get that update from the finance minister when he makes that presentation. Primary balance, that's surplus of GDP, we're expecting based on a number of the indicators with respect to the gold board's activities, that and then gross international reserves as well. As of the last time I checked, we were in 4.5 months of import cover, and so that would have gone beyond what was a target set by the finance minister for himself. But key policy initiatives, we can talk to you about a number of them. The 24-hour economic policy to boost productivity, job creation, and exports, also supposed to review key laws to support revenue efficiency and transparency. On the 24-hour economic policy, has been launched by the government. There are works underway. We haven't seen its full rollout yet, but some institutions are currently engaged in 24-hour service. We know there's a new DVLA office, the Publishing House, Ports and Harbours Authority, amongst others, have begun a rollout of it. We are waiting to see its full implementation. On a review of key laws to support revenue efficiency and transparency as well, we've seen that come on board. We've seen as well that 1 cedi, which was introduced to help, amongst many other things, deal with the energy sector, amongst many other things. Then there is the Ghana Gold Board to stabilize forex and reserve. The verdict is out there, and Gold Board has been working for quite a while. And then full enforcement of the Public Financial Management Act. That will be seen at the end of the 2025 fiscal year. Whether or not there's been full compliance, we will get to know, and we'll also seek to find out when the audit is done by the Auditor General. And so just key highlights for you as we begin a build-up for you towards the reading of the 2026 budget statement by the Finance Minister, Dr. Cassiel Atoforsin. This will take us on to our very first break here on the Bulletin. When we return, we have a bit more for you. Please do stay tuned in.
Welcome back. Now, former workers of Bogoso Prestia mining are demanding government audit of the leasehold held gold fields and an action for secure their unpaid entitlements. They accuse the company of unfair labor practices, selective payments, and a lack of transparency since taking over the mine. The workers have called on the sector minister and the Minerals Commission to investigate held goldfields compliance and financial standing, and to compel the company to pay all outstanding Provident Fund arrears, bonuses, and redundancy package. There's more in this report.
This protest is the latest chapter in the mine's troubled story. After the previous owner, Future Global Resources, collapsed into insolvency, the government entrusted HGL with the lease in late 2024, tasking it with revitalizing the mine and settling all outstanding worker debts. Yet, nearly a year later, the workers say they have seen nothing but disappointment.
The former workers of Prestia Bogoso mine can no longer endure unfulfilled promise. Shifting payment schedules and deliberately inactions. The suffering of the several families, many of whom have devoted decades of service to Ghana's mining sector, cannot continue underchecked.
The Bogoso Prestia mine, once a hub of employment, has become a symbol of broken promises of its former workers. Despite a legal obligation under Ghana's Labour Act, Act 651, to pay terminated workers their full benefits, Heath Goldfields has failed to do so. The workers state that the company reneged on a commitment in August 27 internal memo to settle these arrears by September 2025. In response, they are demanding that government immediately launches a comprehensive audit of Heath Goldfields and compel the company to honor all its financial obligations, including the Provident Fund.
We demand immediate government intervention to 1. Compare Heath Goldfields Limited to settle all outstanding entitlement. Institute a comprehensive financial and operational audit of Heath Goldfields Limited to ascertain its true financial capacity and compliance with lease conditions to avert challenges faced by the previous owners.
Irama Smith, TV3 News, Prestia.
Now, a wave of relief and celebration has swept across the Gulumpe township and its environs following the Ministry of Interior's decision to lift the curfew that had restricted movement in the area for weeks. The ministry, in a statement issued November 4, 2025, confirmed the lifting of the ban, citing a marked improvement in the security situation and the genuine commitment of the community's youth to sustain peace. Belinda Tete has more.
Was initially imposed on October 21, 2025, due to persistent security threats stemming from ongoing tensions in the area. The restrictions included ban on carrying offensive weapons, prohibition on 2 or more persons on motorbikes, and a ban on wearing war regalia. The curfew hours had recently been reviewed from the initial 4 p.m. to 6 a.m. to a less restrictive 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. before being lifted entirely. Residents who have endured the strictest of the security measure expressed their heartfelt gratitude to the ministry. We're really suffering under the curfew period, but as it stands now, we can't express our joy. We are grateful.
We've realized that it has brought a lot of discrepancies. Business couldn't go onward. Those who are doing business around for the enter inside. We acknowledge all that they've done for us.
Now, with the lifting of the curfew ban, we can sit outside, we can go about our daily works, we can even pray in the evening. All we want to say is we are grateful. We are grateful to the President and the various leaders for their intervention to have the ban lifted. We are really happy that the curfew ban has been lifted because we're really suffering due to the heat, but now we are free and we are grateful. They've promised their commitment to avoid activities that will reignite any form of tensions in the area. With anything that happens, there are leaders in the community. So we'll urge ourselves to approach the leaders when there are issues, rather than taking the law into our own hands. We should all be one from now onwards. If you offend a fellow, apologize and let's move forward. Fighting is always not the best. Moving forward, we'll make sure we live in harmony so that any such thing would not happen again. All the advice that has been given to us by our leaders, will take it in good faith. The decision to completely remove the curfew was made on the advice of the National Security Council, indicating a high level of confidence in the sustained peace efforts led by local leaders. Government urges continued dialogue while expressing gratitude to the opinion leaders, stressing the importance of non-violent resolution for all future disputes. The lifting of the curfew effectively marks the end of a tense period for the Kintampo North Municipality and signals a significant step towards reconciliation and development in the Gulumpe Township and its environs. Belinda Tete, TV3 News, Gulumpe.
Now, about 600 irrigation farmers in the Bolgatanga municipality are losing their crops due to lack of water to irrigate their vegetable and rice farms. According to the farmers, the silted canals are blocking the water from flowing through the canals to the farmlands, and all efforts to get the assembly to use the drip machines for desilting have been unsuccessful. We'll connect now with our Upper East Region correspondent, Mohammed Rabiu Tanko, who is currently with the farmers at their farms at Zare, and he joins us live with a bit more. Good afternoon to you, Rabiu. Let's talk about the lack of water for irrigation on these farms. How bad is it?
Yes, thank you very much. Here, farmers rely on the beer dam for irrigation, and then the canals are filtered, making it difficult for water to flow to their farms. As I speak, about 90% of their crops are dying due to lack of water. According to the farmers, the drip machine from the Bolgatanga Municipal Assembly was at the farms last week, but due to some certain circumstances or faulty of some parts, the machines have to return back. So earlier I spoke with one of the lead farmers here at Zare, Thomas Ayamga, and this is what he said.
All right, let's take a listen to the farmers. Well, my understanding is we cannot do that at this time. But Rabiu, let's talk to these farmers and about these farmers and how they are coping with the problem.
Yes, thank you very much. The farmers are all here. What they are saying is that it's very difficult for them because they have to use about 1,150 yards of the water hose for them to be able to get to where the dam is, which is very far, which is costing them. And then they have to use 2 pumping machines for them to pump straight to the farms due to the filtered dams. So, like I interviewed earlier, this is what they said, but due to time, we may have to play their interviews in the subsequent bulletin.
I see. We'll leave it here. Thank you so much for talking to us. Rabiu Tanko Mohammed is our Upper East Region correspondent. We can now take a listen to some voices from the farms.
Most of the crops here, more than 300 acres, that's how they are. They are all dying just because we can't get water to water them. If you need water, you have to take about 1,500 hoses, which you require about 3 pumping machines to be transporting from one generator to other before you can get here. The MP came and did some. He worked for 2 days and they said they were going to service the excavator. It's getting to a week now. We don't know how long an excavator is service. And the crops are dying. So what uses are greetings to a dying body? When the crops die and you now come and open the water for us, what are we now going to use it for? We have some of our brothers that have come even from the Galamsey side because they said they shouldn't do Galamsey. They are first timers who want to invest in the agri sector. But now look at how we are all crying.
That'll be all for Regional Hub.
Tamales Heartbeat is turning up in volume. Get ready for the Christmas warm-up party with Kofi King